tired and worn out as everybody else. But he still managed to put himself in a position to help others. So when somebody from the church, I'm off my notes, say, come and help at the church, we can't use the excuse, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I've had a long week. Oh, my feet hurt because I stand up all day. But let me tell us something today. When we find ourselves in that position at the church helping somebody, watch how God move that pain from our feet. Watch how all of a sudden we're not tired anymore. Watch how we all of a sudden have some energy in our bodies to begin to help somebody else. Paul was able to shake off the effects of the storm and still help others. The second thing that we can learn from Paul is to remain peaceful in the face of adversity. We can shake off the negativity by remaining silent in the midst of our life's chaos. Luke, the author of this book of Acts, gave a vivid depiction of the events that happened relating to Paul in this story. But nowhere did Paul say anything about Paul. Nowhere did Luke say anything about Paul open up his mouth and complaining while things were going on. Even when the same people who were so nice in the beginning and so hospitable to Paul, even they started talking about Paul, but Paul himself remained silent. Notice how quickly the people jumped ship from one side to the next. I'm not going to look up because I know I'm not talking about anybody in this church. We want to help somebody, and we want to lead them down a good path. But as soon as we see their life get a little shaky, we start talking about them. They to put him in the ground, him a murderer. And they say fate would not let him live. We need to stop using people's struggles as means of getting our shots off toward those people. Y'all know what we do. As soon as we see somebody going through some stuff, we say, oh, you reap what you sow. But I have a question. Why don't people use that same scripture when somebody has something to us? We can't keep telling God, God, I don't hear you, when we too busy running our mouths. If we want to hear from God, we got to learn how to be quiet sometimes. And God is going to answer us, but we can't talk and listen at the same time. I heard this quote that says, pressure breaks pipes. I thought about that. So if pressure breaks pipes, I'm sure when that pipe busts, it makes some noise. But then the quote said, that same pressure can shine diamonds. And as that diamond being shined, it's not making the noise that the pipe makes. So we have to decide, are we going to be a pipe? Or are we going to be a diamond? Because I tell you what, I'm going to keep smiling when I'm going through my problems. And I'm not going to let that pressure bust me. But I'm going to let that pressure shine me. And they're going to wonder around why Minister Johnson always smiling. I'm going to be just like that diamond in the cabinet that we see when we walk in the jewelry store. Shining because I know the maker hand that I just came out of made me that way, and I don't have a need to complain. So first, Paul mentally shook off being shipwrecked by helping others. Secondly, Paul emotionally shook off the negativity by remaining silent in the midst of his chaos. Finally, what we can learn from Paul in this scripture, that we must physically shake off the enemy. Verse 3 said a viper crawled out of the fire because the heat was too hot and fastened itself on Paul's hands. Now, some people, if they tell that story, they're going to leave something out to make you think that as soon as Paul threw the wood on the fire, that the snake had something out for Paul. But the snake didn't like the fire just as much. The fire was made to help out Paul and everyone around him. But verse 5 says, Paul then simply shook off the creature into the fire and suffered no ill effects. We tried to analyze what kind of snake it was and why the snake bit us in the first place. And then we want everybody to see the snake on our hand so we can have a story to dig the knife in a little deeper. As soon as we start feeling attacked, we call our family and we call our friends. We get on social media and we want to tell the whole world that the devil is attacking me. How about we do what Paul did? Shake it off back into the fire. Now, I don't know how Paul knew, but Paul stayed close to that fire. Just like when we feel the devil is ringing our doorbell, all we do is